You're listening to All Things SEP, the official Southeast Polk Community School District podcast. And here's our host, Superintendent Dr. Dirk Halupnik.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the All Things SEP podcast. This podcast is intended to be a regular series of brief, informative updates highlighting some of the great things that are happening throughout the Southeast Polk School District. I'm your host, Dirk Halupnik, and I have the honor and privilege of serving as the superintendent here at Southeast Polk. On today's podcast, we're going to talk about the 2025 Southeast Polk Referendum. Joining us today is Southeast Polk Board of Education President Brigid Ernst. Welcome.
Hi.
Thanks for taking the time to stop by and talk with us today.
Of course, my pleasure.
We've got a few questions I'd like to run through regarding the 2025 referendum, and some basic and some more detailed. So we'll just start off. What is a bond referendum?
Great question. A bond referendum is an election held to give the residents of the school district the opportunity to vote yes or no on a district's request to borrow money to build new schools, renovating existing schools, and or acquiring or improving other long-term assets.
Okay. Well, what are the projects in the 2025 bond referendum?
Well, in the bond referendum right now, we are hoping to build a new elementary school, upgrade playgrounds for all pre-K through fifth grade schools, with the purpose of focusing on safety and accessibility improvements for all of our students to be able to enjoy playing outside together, and then renovating the junior high, which includes grades 8 through 9 in that building, by relocating the main office to the building entrance, which would improve safety and accessibility for students and families who are visiting the building. Also, that would allow an expansion of the commons area to better serve students. Right now, the office is in the middle of the building, which is not very accessible or safe in terms of monitoring visitors.
Great. What's the total amount of the bond referendum vote?
$51 million. Of that amount, $40 million is projected for the elementary school, $3 million for the playground projects, $7 million for the junior high renovations, and then $1 million of that is set aside for costs associated with that process.
Oh, sure. What issues facing Southeast Polk does this referendum address?
Well, the first issue that it will really help address is the growth. We have been having some very positive, steady growth in the school district, and projections that we've received from demographer in the past have that continuing with 500 plus students over the next 4 years. So much of that growth is actually projected at the elementary level, which is why that elementary school is included in the referendum. Also, accessibility. We definitely want to include all of our students and learners in all experiences. So the playground projects will help increase accessibility as well as safety for students of all abilities. The junior high spaces, they relocating that main office to the building entrance, as I said, would improve safety and accessibility. Currently, visitors have to walk all the way down the hallway from the main entrance to the office, and that has too many access points to other areas of the building. And then that commons area expansion will really help better serve students. Right now during lunch, the lunchroom is crowded. Students are, eating at tables that are temporarily set up in front of the gymnasium and in the open area. And the office kind of sits right in the middle of that right now. So it's really not ideal for space and supervision.
Great. So you mentioned growth, but why is a new elementary school needed?
Some buildings are feeling the effects of that growth a little more than others, and we definitely want to remedy that. And with 500 plus students projected in the next 4 years, we just don't have the adequate space right now.
Sure.
Also, along with that, that impacts class sizes. And by creating more space, there would be more classes, which means less students per class, ideally. And that would allow teachers to give more individual attention. Also, the neighborhood school concept is really a value of our community. We want to keep students closer to home and reduce long bus rides. And neighborhood schools really, I don't know, they're part of, they help parents kind of relate to the school district and form an identity and a sense of community around there. It's I think, a great thing about our school district.
Absolutely.
Also, early learning, we, have incorporated preschool into our elementary schools, but we'd like to expand that to make sure there are more options for students, because currently I believe the demand exceeds the space. And we have a vision of adding transitional kindergarten, which, that's a big goal, and that definitely requires more space, but we feel that that would best serve the needs of our younger learners in our community, and we want to add that for our families. So, that will really help kids get a really strong start too.
Absolutely. What kind of accessibility improvements will be made to playground equipment at the pre-K-5 facilities?
Well, one of the big things I'm personally excited about, because I remember trying to accomplish this when I was on the PTA, but is the pour-in-place rubber and turf surfaces. Some of our playgrounds at some of our schools have it now, but it's not universal because the cost is just so prohibitive, and there's no way that schools have been able to fundraise for that. So we want to take that burden off and make sure everybody has that nice, safe surface. That will also help all of the equipment be more accessible. In addition to those safe surfaces, that accessibility will be enhanced by playground equipment that will allow more students, especially those with more mobility issues, to be able to use the equipment.
You bet. You mentioned this, but just one more time, what renovations will take place in that 8-9 junior high facility?
Sure. The office will be relocated from kind of the middle of the building to the front of the building. So that will include a bit of an expansion. So a new part will be added to the front of that building to add those offices, and the main entrance will be in the same place, but the office will be right there to catch all visitors and students on their way in.
Right.
And then that old office space will be eliminated, and that space will be opened up. Also, now that we have different age students, instead of 7 and 8, we have 8, 9 in that building, and ninth graders have different needs for space. They've grown a little more, and we need to accommodate that need for space for their bodies.
Right. All right. So, how will this affect my taxes?
Great question. It will not increase the district tax rate. We've been very mindful in our planning to not affect the current tax rate, which is, at a good level, and we know that our, taxpayers don't want to see tax increases. So we've really made sure that we've stayed within the amount that would allow us to not increase.
Okay. When is the bond referendum vote?
November 4th. Mark your calendar.
Okay. And where can I go to get more information about this?
Well, on the Southeast Polk website, so www.southeastpolk.org, and you can go to the top of the main page. there's a yellow button right there that says 2025 bond referendum. Go ahead and click on that. There's a lot of information, a great Q&A, so a lot of the most common questions are answered there, along with, we're getting new questions all the time, so, check back on that. There's also a click to Let's Talk button, or
For questions?
Yep. I think that's toward the bottom of the Q&A section. So if one of your questions, you have a question that isn't answered in that FAQ section, you can click that and submit your question. That goes directly to our district office, where it will be answered by the staff expert in the area that your question is
Cool.
regarding.
That's a nice feature.
Yep.
So basically, if I go to the Southeast Polk website, I can't miss it.
Exactly. It is right there.
All right. Well, thank you, Brigid, for sharing all this information with us and for all of your efforts as the Southeast Polk Board of Education president.
Well,
really appreciate you being here today.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Well, that's it for today. I want to say thank you to our listeners for joining us on this episode of All Things SEP. We'll be back soon with new updates. We'll see you next time.